So, welcome back everybody to my second diary of my trip towards my ego, which is situated in LHS 3447. And something very strange happened lately, and I wanted to just share these impressions from the journey with you and talk a little bit about what I've seen or show you what I've seen and talk a little bit about the things that I've witnessed. First of all, let me show you the system of interdiction. This is me flying around here, and there's my first interdiction, which I actually fail. I get jumped by a little eagle, but luckily I can outrun him, and before he can really do any damage, besides scratching a little bit my paint and shooting my shields, I actually get away from him, and again with a little bit help of the side strafing thrusters on my sidewinder, I am able to jump away from him. So the frame shift is coming back online again, and you can see here, even though he's a little bit near to me, I can still charge up, and we'll now jump away. So, on with the exploring. As you can see, I'm flying towards my next target here. Some drunken NPC. And the next one. Even though the escape vector just jumped around a little bit here, this time I'm able to evade it. The only problem I think I have is coming closer to the sun here, which can actually lead to your being or your overheating and getting into the corona. So again, on with the exploring. As you can see, just flying around a little bit in this system here, checking out all the unidentified planets that I've pinged with my basic scanner on my way in. So basically working off the list, but not for long. Here comes number 3. I don't know what the guys in this system have for. If it's perhaps customary to interdict everybody that jumps around or jumps in and just wants to do some quick exploring and mapping of the sector. Perhaps they dislike people like me. Even though I don't carry any cargo, so they can't get anything off me other than the expenses for their bullets or. As you can see here in the background, I'm resorting to my Germans because at this point I've quite literally had it with the guys here. So Here we go. Evaded him as well. And on with the exploring. Hopefully. And just wanted to show you, this is the next trip I've done, and on to the next system. And I've basically been doing this. This is my modus operandi for my journey so far. And it's just, I didn't even realize it at the time, but the sheer beauty of all the things that I've saw and all the things that I've just put in this video and condensed it a little bit down, because this is basically virtually hours on end that I did with doing nothing more than just flying around and mapping sectors and basically earning my income with that. Oh yes, this was a nice system, as you can see. It's this, the sheer beauty of this whole thing and of this whole game just struck me. As you can see, the solar flares, the beautiful stars that you can witness every time you just look up through this big glass cockpit of the Sidewinder, which basically none of the other crafts has anymore. All the other crafts don't have this big canopy bubble type of cockpit that you can just look around everywhere and see everything that's around you. If you're flying a little bit sideways, you can even look behind you in this little ship. And when I started out, I was thinking really hard about how, with the money I make from exploring, I need to upgrade my ship to something bigger so that I can pack more scanners and get more money. But actually, I'm currently at the point I have upgraded my ship a little bit, but I don't think I want to sell it anymore. I think I want to just, tuck it away when everything is said and done, and when I reached LHS 3447, I just want to tuck it in and leave it there. It's a kind of memento for my first journey. And I'm roughly only at half of the way towards my my destination, and it's kind of strange, because the time you spend with your ship and the things that you experience with your ship, that's something that no story mode that's ever been written can give you. This emotional bond. As you can see here, this is one of the next systems I'm in. Just these impressions that you get along the way. I mean, in the past I've done combat with my ship and trading with my ship. And I saw many things, but this exploring and these wonderful solar flares here on the surface of the sun, or show you here just this coming into an unexplored system or unexplored star cluster, and you can see here all the different stars that are orbiting here around the central one. This kind of emotional bond that you get, this kind of story, that's something that can't be done with, or can't be forced with any heavy-handed writing. It's just something you have to experience for yourself. And there are very few games in the last couple of years that have done so. even space exploration games like X always force you into kind of a heavy-handed story and think they need to tell you something, but they don't. As you can see here, I'm coming in on this unexplored planet, and it's just this feeling that it's growing bigger and bigger in your viewport, and you can basically just fly around it. You look down on it and you can see all the little intricate surface details. That's something that for me no other game has done since a very, very long time. I think basically since the days of Privateer 2. And I've seen some of the videos of people visiting Sol now, the Sol system, so basically our solar system, and I've made it. At the end of this video you will see that I've actually made it, and I have to say, I flew to Earth, I docked there, did a little something there, but it wasn't so it wasn't compared to the things that I've experienced before. It wasn't that special. It was simply, it paled in comparison to all the things that I saw before. All these impressions that you see here. The beautiful rings here, like this one. And to know that you basically can jump out at any point here into this asteroid belt or asteroid ring, and that there are actual asteroids here, yeah, that you can mine these. You just could choose to just go out of frameshift drive here and go to work. And I found myself basically just spending very little time in Sol and actually thinking, okay, much more interesting to me rather than flying around in Sol, and of course I had a look at if the texture for Earth is correct, and seeing that it is, but I found myself much more interested in continuing my journey and seeing all the other stuff. And some of these systems, especially in the very beginning, because I was basically playing the gamma from the point that it went live, to actually know that some of these systems I was the very first person to fly there and to explore them and to map them. That's something that's very, very strange. And this, for me, is an emotional bond to a game that I don't have very often. Scenes like these, that where you come into an outpost, and sure, many of the stations look very much alike, but I'm discovering new outposts all the time. Basically, this is one of the outpost types that I never saw before, and it's so detailed that I sometimes wish that I took even more time looking at all the structures and all the details that they did, because they're beautiful crafted. And you will see me later on sometimes in these videos that I basically the server has a little bit of lag, and some of my transactions don't go through very smoothly. and I just stare at other ships docking. And I've read a few comments from people that say basically, oh, you know, this whole game looks so sterile, and there's so few people around and stuff. But for me, it really the exploration part is nailed just perfectly, and you see NPCs flying around. And when you're at a station, and I'll show you some scenes here, where I just looked at all the other docking ports or docking moorings, and you can basically see other ships coming in and docking, and me just watching how they dock and how they disappear in their respective hangars. And this is basically another example. This is just some station I've encountered along the way. You can actually see here, besides my docking port number 1, there's the docking port number 2 that's lit up as well. So that means basically somewhere around here there's another ship coming in.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
And at one point, which I unfortunately didn't record, I had a run-in with a white dwarf, and basically I almost wrecked my ship because I didn't realize that the temperatures were rising very fast, and I basically limped on 5% hull integrity to the next station. And I think basically that means if somebody would have interdicted me, that would basically mean when you're interdicted, you actually lose a little bit of hull integrity, which is about the equivalent of 5%. And if somebody interdicted me, and if I didn't manage to escape him, then that actually would mean that I would have died, and the ship would be destroyed. And in retrospective, I'm really glad it didn't. And I fixed it up, and I'm flying ever since. And besides my first running out of fuel, I'm actually now with the fuel scoop more or less totally autonomous. So this is the thing I said just a second ago. You can see I'm basically selling all my discovered data and my cartography stuff, but it takes a little bit of time because the server seems to be getting really hammered right now. But I don't care, because I can look at this Cobra over there, and I can basically watch him go through the paces and the progresses and steps of landing. And even though I know that that's just an NPC, that's not even a player. It's just something about it that really feels very special. And this is one of the stations that I encountered, which is actually quite close to Sol, so to the Earth. I think it's shortly before I run into a little problem that the Sirius System, which is basically the one of the gateways that you need to pass to get to Sol, is only passable when you're in good standing with the Sirius Corporation, which I can't be because I'm an explorer and I don't have any cargo spaces, so I had to make a detour there. And even though, I mean, okay, perhaps it's because I've been at so many Coriolis stations, sorry, during the beta already, that this is not something very new for me, but still, it's... Here you can see basically there's LHS 3447, and that was the current progress. I'm a little bit further down the road now, but you see it's still a very, very long way. And I actually, at first when I talked to RamJB, I was very pissed that they're serious, which you can't pass, but I don't know at this time. When I talked to RamJB, I was very pissed that the Eagle was 160 light years away, but currently I'm thinking it was one of the best things that could happen, because of all this I would never have seen anything of this if it wasn't for the fact that I had to fly basically through a good part of the galaxy to get to my Eagle. And this is, for example, is one of the pirate bases that are scattered. In the beta I had a run-in with one of these stations and they wouldn't let me dock, but this time there seems to be no problem with it. And all the subtle visual hints that you can see here, this basically these big pirate holograms up there. This is all the things I could probably just stare at all the stations for hours. And as I said, all this would never have been possible if it wasn't for the fact that this Eagle is basically on the other side of the galaxy. And when I'm coming into a system like this, which is basically explored already, I really kind of feel a bit disappointed, because the whole exploration is such a cool concept, and it just feels so new to me. Even after I've done this probably, I don't know, 20-30 times already, that I really, when I'm coming into a civilized and already mapped system, I really feel kind of disappointed, because this whole experience of finding these stars and looking at the stars, and I've made an effort lately to even check the system view and see what kind of planets are those that I've discovered. And most of them are just ice planets, but still, it's just such a strange feeling to do this in a game that it really grew on me. This is basically one of the last steps before coming to the Sol system. This was a very rich resort system, basically. All of their stations looked like these and like this. This is a very wealthy variant of the station, and all you could buy in this station basically was a Laken 9. But I mean, I still absolutely adore the design of these stations. I really think that Frontier Games has done a real great job of designing these and laying them out and designing all the little intricacies here, like the interiors. But when you're out in the galaxy and seeing all this stuff, you really become jaded for seeing these stations here. And up on the right, I'm writing Ram if he plans on visiting Saul that he shouldn't go through the Sirius system because that requires a permit, which you can actually, a little tip here, you can obtain the permit by doing missions for the Sirius Corporation, and if you're in good enough standing, you will get a permit for going through their system. But I've took a detour, and it was good because I've visited other systems again and mapped these, and I really took the time to explore every system. There you can see there's a little sidewinder coming from the hangar there. And this is something that I find myself doing more and more, just looking at the environment and seeing him taking off there and going away, and there's an asp that's coming in and that's landing, and now somebody is running afoul with the law here. You can see the lasers. He's somewhere stuck down there and he's cut up. That poor guy is exploding. And it's just these things. It's watching other ships and watching how they dock. It's something so you heard that bump? He sat down a little bit hard. It's just, I really like this, and now we're actually at the Sol system. I'm in Li Qing Yao station, which is orbiting Earth, right opposed to the Russian and American stations. And you can see me, I'm now leaving the station, and there's some real traffic here. This is one of the new ships, and I think that's a Laken, oh no, that's an Imperial dropship, and there's I think that there was a Cobra in front of the dropship, and there's Earth. Even though I'm going to check it out now, I really feel that I long for to continue this journey that I did to here. And I can't wait to see all the different beautiful systems that I will visit when I continue my journey. And I have to admit, yes, I upgraded my ship with a kill warrant scanner and some burst lasers with tracking. There's Earth, and you can basically see I'm over the Far East right now, putting in the course for the moon now. But yes, I will do some bounty hunting in the future, and I will actually show you a little bit currently, but I have to say that this is the experience of actually this whole exploration is something that I can't really put in words. And here we're on the moon, and you can see basically that's the thing that I said about the bubble canopy of the Sidewinder. You can actually look out there and you can see this beautiful texture of the moon. And as you can see, I'm basically now looking, okay, how do I continue my journey from here? Okay, there's still quite a bit of way to go before I actually reach LHS 3447. And this is actually happening as well. I'm interdicted in the Sol system. Not by some kind of system authority vessel, but a would-be hijacker. But he must be one of the worst hijackers in all history, because was doing piracy in the one of the the most tightly controlled systems in the galaxy. He can't live that long. And you can see I'm scanning him here, and you perhaps saw a second ago that I've deployed my weapons. These are gimbaled burst lasers. They're not very powerful, but they're okay. I'm not really interested in doing too much bounty hunting, really. It's just if I have jokers like him here, and I can defend myself and I can actually get a little bit of money from the bounty. That's how easy it is to earn 1,500 credits in this game. So, I'm at Daedalus now, which is a station that's orbiting the moon. I basically just went there to cash in on the bounty, because I spent pretty much everything I had on the weapons and the kill scanner, and bought a new power distribution. But as I said, I'm not really. I was really thinking if I should perhaps just save the money and buy a new ship, but I don't want to sell the ship anymore. I'll probably paint it sooner or later, and I'm going to stow it when I get the next one I have, or I'll get if I reach my Eagle. But I'm not going to sell this. It's going to stay at some station. I'll go around there and visit it sometimes.
Landing gear deployed.
So, hope you enjoyed this video. It's really a very strange feeling for me to have this kind of changed perspective. But again, hope you enjoyed this and hope to see you in the next one. Bye.